Hi everyone, welcome to Pineapple Chat here on Being More Pineapple. This week we are talking to Stacey Orrow from the Colour Room in Letchworth. We talk about starting a business from her mother-in-law's spare room to staying motivated during a pandemic. Let us know your thoughts and drop your comments below. Enjoy! Red light on?
Mm-hmm.
We're going?
Yep.
We're going. Welcome everybody to this week's Pineapple Chat. It's me, Rob the Weller Hair Guy, and this guy.
Stu, I still haven't got anything to tell you. I haven't got a catchy fun name, just his brother. There you go.
I think this is probably going to be the thing now, isn't it? It's just always going to be like, and this guy.
Yeah, probably will be. And I will probably, sorry, I just realised what's happened as well.
You're being photobombed.
Recording.
This is staying in.
This is
My
staying.
husband makes podcasts as well. Like he's a podcast.
Oh, shut up, does he?
Yeah. So like he should fucking know better. Just have to go close to the camera.
Yeah, you were just slowly going closer and then going across. Like.
You see that cheeky finger there?
No, he's just off shot. Right then. So, that could be the opening clip, Stu, I think.
Yeah, that will be the one.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this week's guest, we would like to welcome Stacey from the Colour Room down in Letchworth. And hi Stacey.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's nice to chat with you again, and just happy to be here.
Oh, fantastic. So Stacey is a little bit of an entrepreneur herself. She is a salon owner. She's a hairdresser. She's now turned a bit of a business whiz as well. She's got some new things coming up, which you're going to be really excited to talk about. She's a bit of a social media queen. I loved... Yes, you are.
No.
And I don't mean queen as in diva. I mean, when you actually get over to her socials and you have a little look, she's like the realest of real. She's one of those salt of the earth people, which you just know that there is no BSing involved. It is what it is. And I just think you're my kind of people. That is just what I like. You know?
Thanks, Rob. That must be why we're always our top viewers on each other's stories, I reckon. Just calling.
Yeah. So, is there anything I missed off there?
We'll say no for sure. I'm sure it will come to something. So there's so much I could say, other bits and bobs that I do that they're probably just not relevant. So it's fine. No, that's fine. That's more than enough. Thank you, Rob.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So, Stacey's also a mum as well, which I think is going to come up a little bit in this chat as well, because I think, especially at this moment in time with some of the stuff that Stacey's got going on, I'd like to sort of see how that balance is between that home life, work life, lockdown life, all of that jazz going on. So I think that's going to be something that comes up as well. But until we get to that point, I think we'll start things off by asking, how long have you been hairdressing and how did you get into it?
So I have been hairdresser for 10 years now. So when I was really little, I wanted to be a hairdresser, and there's like this really cool pic I'll have to dig out of me when I was about 3 or 4, putting a bag over my auntie's head, pretending that it's a hood dryer.
Okay.
Caravan holiday.
Not for suffocation reasons or anything.
It wasn't that bad, but no, pretending it was a hood dryer, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that I wanted to do it, and I remember having so much respect for hairdressers from quite a young age. And so I don't come from like I think most people say this, I don't come from much, but like I just come from like a normal just normal living. There's just me and my mum. So my dad died when I was 5, and I remember that my mum always made time and money for having her hair done, because it made her feel amazing. She had a really good relationship with her hairdressers. She's pretty fussy, so like she used to go to one salon for her cut and one salon for her colour, and neither could blow dry it right. So like it really set in me that this was important. And I remember, sitting and asking the hairdresser all these different questions, and I remember like enjoying the experience myself. And I remember my mum paying by check, and starting to understand that you can read numbers. And I think it must have been like £75 or something for like her full head of highlights. And I remember her being at the cash point, and I was going, £75, Mummy, that's such a lot of money. She was like, shut up. And she got out, and she was like, it's just, I really care about this. I really care about it. And that's what I like to spend my money on every month. And my mum, just as I said, my mum was a single mum, and it's just me. And she had spent some of her hard-earned cash that was important to her. And I think so that always installed value of the profession to me. And fascination, like watching them like whip these foils in as a kid, and you're like, and just being on the spinny chair, really being on a cutting stool, just
going up and down
salon. And so I always wanted to be a hairdresser. And I remember my auntie's salon, who I used to go with her too, and he gave her to give to me one of their old doll blocks, and it was like, fucked, not gonna lie, but to be given that was like, oh my god, this is so great. And I used to just love it and look after it and play with it, and that instilled that in me too. But I remember my mum being like, you know what, it's not the best hours, it's not the best pay, and you know, bad backs run in our family, so just think about that. So I actually studied law, psychology, sociology, and media studies before I did hairdressing. So I did that for a year, because I was going to do a year of hairdressing on the side, and then just have that as a bit of cash in hand money, because obviously hairdressing is so adaptable. It fits any clientele. It can fit around anyone's lifestyle, and it's always necessary. So that's something that I really feel strongly about. And
we should be essential workers.
All right. But I really struggled. I found that I wasn't although I completed the courses, like I wasn't as academic. They discovered I was actually dyslexic, so I'm dyslexic. I finished that year and then just went straight into hairdressing. And I was like, I went and trained in my local college, and was like, I'm just going to get in and get out. Like, they're probably going to be bimbos. This is probably going to be easy. I just need it on paper. And I was so fucking wrong. Like, oh my God. And I don't know how I passed the first year. I didn't even understand colour. Like, I don't know how I passed my my VRQ2. Then we did our MVQ2, and I just fell in love. And we went to Salon International. And oh my god, there's a picture of me. I'll have to find it and show you, Rob. But I was dressed like a right muppet, and I had this really, this is how I used to dress, like really leery, like shaved side of my head. And I remember like walking into the doors at Salon International and just being like, oh my god, this is amazing. And coming home, and I was working in a baker's at the time, and saying to my now husband, who you've just seen, saying, I'm going to be a hairdresser. I'm going to be a hairdresser. Like, I fucking love it. This is awesome. Look how much there is to do. Like, it's not what I thought. It's so much to do, like so many avenues. And that was it. So I started working in my local, my college was really lucky at the time. It had a commercial department. So it was a Weller salon. It was, I don't know if you know about them. So it's all fully above board. It just costs less to run because the rent's included, really. We all had to be trade tested still, and it was great. And I met some amazing people working there. And not long after, that was while I was doing my MVQ2. So I did my 3 years of education. And through that time, I became self-employed. And by the time I was doing my level 3, I had like a full book of clients. So I was 19, and that's when I registered as like a sole trader at 19. And I've been self-employed ever since, really. I've done it. I've just done all the different routes. I was going to people's houses. I was working in kitchens. The salon that people will see on social media is actually my mother-in-law's back bedroom in her council house. Yeah. So I've got a team of 5 and 2 assistant staff. If you like, team. I hate the word staff. Does anybody else hate the word staff? Icky. But like team. And yeah, we've just got this really weird way of working that completely works. But we outgrew it. So I've been trying to move out of my mother-in-law's for like 2 years, and because of COVID and because of this, that, and the other. But it's all gone into the pot to make the journey. Do you know what I mean? I've learned so much. So yeah, I should have moved like 2 years ago, and it's only happening now. Like probably by the time this airs, I'll be in the I'll have the keys. But it's been such a journey. But yeah, I've just seen and done it all when it comes to freelance, in all different aspects. That's just cutting it short. So yeah, that's my up to now anyway.
Wowzers, trousers. Like, it always surprises me. Like, there's been a few people that we've now chatted to, and there's obviously the standard, I've been hairdressing since before I could walk sort of thing, and they've just gone straight into hairdressing. But you do within, I'd probably say a 60-40 split. There's still a big chunk of people which hairdressing is actually like, is not what they studied first. I know that you always wanted to be a hairdresser, but you went and did everything else, but it's not what they studied first. And I've always find it interesting, like what people studied first. Like what made you choose like what you did, like
so I wanted to be a support worker for people with learning disabilities, which I also did do in the end, alongside hairdressing, and it absolutely is not the type of patients I've got. I'm not going to lie. It's not it wasn't suited to me as a person. But I just love people. I love finding out what makes people tick. I love listening to people's stories. I love just anything that I thought would be useful moving forward to do well in a people job. Basically. And that's still applied. I mean, what I learned in business, what I learned in law, what I learned in media studies, I use now and create my courses from, as well as experience. The psychology and sociology element of it, that's just standard for any hairdresser, isn't it, really? So yeah, I took something from it for sure, and I'm kind of glad I did, because it really gives you a reflect of like the what's this type of job called? I always forget. Like skill-based work, skill-based education. What's the word? It's really bugging me. Versus like academic and like the
vocational work.
That's the word. Vocational work. Thank you. So yeah, so to go from something as academic as you can get to vocational really gives you an appreciation for the hardships of both and the benefits of both. So I'm definitely glad that it happened the way it did. Definitely.
I think it's quite funny. From the conversations we've had, the starting points have always been someone of importance to go into the profession or the idea of having it. So we've had like my mum, my auntie, like Rob started because Auntie Rachel was a hairdresser and he got involved in there. You because of your mum, and I think it's quite inherent that actually it's something you were just around all your life, and then it just became something quite important to you as well. And it's like it feels like from the conversations we've had, it's like a pass down thing. So it's like, I'm passing this on to you, I'm passing you my passion for what this is. And from what you said, like your mum did it because she loved it and she wanted it, and you're doing it because you love it.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? I mean, my mum, when she was young, she's not a hairdresser, but she wanted to be. And she's one of them people, absolutely amazing. If you watch the transformation of my back room, Rob, you'll have seen my mum in full-blown, like, Carol Smiley action. She doesn't add to anything. My mum is so strong and so, like, she can literally just do anything. Like, she doesn't know how clever she is sometimes, but she instilled that value of hairdressing because she showed me I make time and money to go and have this done. And some people just get it out of a box. I mean, she did sometimes used to just, if money was tight once a month or so, 1 month or so, she would just get a box dye and do her cap highlights. But she always preferred having it done properly, and it was important, and I took that on for sure, definitely. And I think it shows, like, hairdressing is such a beautiful, you get to be creative when like every day, like hair is a canvas. And it's such a, people say it all the time, but I remember saying to my mum, I want to be an artist when I'm older. I want to be a teacher when I'm older. And she kind of said, well, she's so savage, but she said, you're not going to be an artist and you're not going to be famous like until you're dead. I'm not going to lie. See, I remember her saying it to me and I was like, okay then. And you know what I mean? And like being a teacher, she was like, you'll be taking your work home with you every day. Not going to lie. Like it's not much of a work-life balance. But I just ended up in hairdressing anyway. And no one, you know, no one's moaning now. So yeah, definitely my mum instilled a lot of those values.
Yeah. I think, and going back to what you said before, it's like hating the word staff. It's like with what Stu said, it's that hand down, that family element that is a team. It is a little mini family. It's your work family. And I think that's the one thing that really, in my mind, comes across like seeing your socials. It's like you are a little close knit little family. And, you know, at the end of the day, we can all say what we want and do what we want, but we all get it and it's fine and it all just works like you say, and it shouldn't, but it does.
I mean, definitely we are put to our tests. I mean, at one point there was probably 3 of us that were pretty much working full time in a bedroom, a 10 by 12 bedroom. We'd like come in through the front door, all right, Viv, say hello to my mother-in-law, take the towels up, and you know, we'd go in the back room. Like we got 2, in the end we have like 2 bedrooms, 2 10 by 12 back bedrooms with Viv's bedroom in the middle, and we'd just walk across, get the coffee, we'd be rolling towels, and you're literally, before like social distancing restrictions, we'd have like 2 clients each, clients waiting like across the 2 rooms. You'd probably have like 10 people at times, like with our Saturday assistant as well, in 2 back bedrooms. It's fucking mental. And you were literally bums against each other doing clients, and it was just such a laugh. But it really does put you to the test. But that was the point where like, I think we need to get somewhere bigger, guys. But that literally is like, literally we was all coming together in a house every day, and it literally was like family. Like you don't get much more than that, is how I feel.
I think the other side of it is, I think a lot of people who aren't involved or have a family history or see the importance of it do see it as quite a throwaway part of like, oh, it's just a hairdresser. They don't see the value of it. And I think actually hearing that side, and like I said from previous conversations, actually hearing the importance of like, why is it that there's women or men, whoever, who will religiously go every month and go and do this and go, because actually it can be, like you said, the therapy session they need, or that time away so that they can relax, or something to make themselves feel good. It's not just about, I'm going to go get my hair cut. For a lot of people, and more than people will admit it, it's that moment of being like, see you later, I'm going off. It's like, I know this is a really weird analogy, but it's like going to the bathroom. You know you're going to be on your own if you've not got kids. You know you can shut the door, you're on your own, you're safe. And that's the same idea with like going to the hairdressers. You know you can be like, I can say what I want to this person and they're going to be all right with me.
You know, it's so funny. An analogy I've got moving forward for my salon, I'll tell you in a minute, but you are 100% right. It is a sacred relationship and a sacred rapport. And do you know what, like I say to my clients, like if nothing massive changes, we'll be seeing each other every 6 weeks for the rest of our lives. And I put it into context sometimes. I'm like, when's the last time you saw your best mate who you don't work with? And they're like, oh, do you know, I keep meaning to catch up with her. And it is like you see your hairdresser more often than you see your friends often, like if you don't work with them. And it is sacred, and it is that time for yourself. And you will say, sorry, I can't, I'm at the hairdressers, when really you're just sat there and someone else is doing all your bits and bobs for you. But that's your time. And it's this mentality we've been conditioned to say, like, I can't do anything because I'm in the hairdressers. And I think there's 2 sides to that, really. I mean, I think what's interesting is the nature of how services have developed in salons as well, or in, you know, in that time. I don't want to just limit myself to saying salons, because I respect any way that people conduct themselves as a hair professional. But I mean, for us, we do balayages, transformations, double colour bleach services back to back all fucking day, right? And people are in for like 5 hours. And we don't rush them, and we, you know, we've got snacks, we've got drinks, we've got magazines. Well, we did have magazines, you know, and it's just that sacred time that because we're seeing people from start to finish as well. It's not, you know, a cutters and colourers set up. It is completely sacred time that you are just with your friends, and that's for me why it's so important for me to put who I am out on on socials. Like, I don't care if I don't come across polished. I don't care like if I make the odd blunder, because that's me. Like, I don't want to spend 5 hours with you if we're not got nothing in common. Do you know what I mean? Like, even fundamentals of how we live our lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not doable. And I think we all need to give ourselves some credit, but luckily I don't think there's anybody that comes to us or in my universe really that says you're just a hairdresser. Like, I hear that a lot, and I think, just remember, like, you are what you put out. Like, don't give yourself like subconsciously that title then, because you are more than that. And it's just mad, like the things that we hold and that release that we give people, and the people that they tell you stuff. Like you said, Stuart, they wouldn't tell anybody else. They haven't got anyone to tell, or they haven't seen anyone, or they just haven't got anyone that's unrelated to that topic that they want to talk about in their lives. And to me, that is so sacred and like an honor when people want to tell me stuff like that. And equally, you get so invested in their lives, and you can get so like upset when people tell you like their mum's dying or something's gone terribly wrong, or equally as happy when they're pregnant because you know they've been trying for so long. Like, these emotional connections which implements then how we feel about charging, because at the end of the day have come to us for a service that we need to charge for, which is why I know we'll get onto it in a bit, which is why we sort of come around to this adjustment of mindset. But yeah, fundamentally we do all have to respect the what goes into this job and how draining it is for us as well. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with you.
It's I'm not going to ask you to do it, just in case anybody that comes to see you like watches this or listens to this or whatever. But I always remember when I was full-time in salon, and you say about, you know, having those conversations with people and things like that. And I remember two quite specific ones. The first one was the very first time I realized how much confidence and confidentiality somebody has within you when they're in the chair, and how much in their little bubble they are when it's you doing their hair. That I actually had the one person, the lady, come in to see me, and she'd be talking about what she'd be doing at the weekend and things like that, and she went away with the girls and blah blah blah, and then how she met this guy and all this bits and bobs and stuff goes on. And then one weekend, this guy comes over and is then like, oh, okay, so I'll meet you outside afterwards, see you later. And then he turned and said to me, oh, I'm in with you afterward, like later on as well, so I'll come back and see you to get your haircut. I'm thinking, and then I was like, oh, is this him then? Is this him? You know, you've invited him over. No, that was her husband. I was like,
I knew this was going there. I think we've all been there.
I couldn't say a thing. Like, I was like, it's not my place. And that's not, I'm not trying to say that it's a gift that you have to then be like Jeremy Kyle Central and keep all these things, and like, and let's open the envelope and reveal to you that yes, she is a liar, she's cheating or whatever. It's not about that. It's not but it's like people do hold like such confidence in you. And then the other one is the time when, and it makes me cringe even thinking about it. I saw I think it was somebody did a reels or a story or something like that, and it's like circulated through every sort of big Hairbrained and all these ones now. And it's this woman, the conversations you have, or the conversations you think you have when the hairdryer's on. And I remember doing it, and my answer was, so I'll start at the end and I'll tell you the story. So my answer was, oh yeah, I'm going across to the new place, I'm going to try one of their like ultimate cheese sandwiches. Anyway, she's now in tears because under the hairdryer, she's actually said that a dog had died. I'd heard, what are you having for lunch? So
there needs to be some like disclaimer on the fucking mirror, doesn't there? Like, don't tell me anything important or like sensitive while the fucking hairdryer's on.
They do it on purpose because they think, right, this is on now, it's loud enough, I can say what I need to say, and you know, you're close enough to be able to hear me. I'm like, yeah, but there's a hairdryer right in between us, but nobody else can hear it. But yeah, it was like, those are the two standout things I think for me, and it really does give you that appreciation to sort of then, or people should then start to appreciate. And I think because of the pandemic as well, I think people have started to appreciate our industry a hell of a lot more, not just for the hairdressing side of it, but like you both just said about the getaway, the escapism, that friend outside of the normal friend group. But the one conversation I know that I constantly am having with salon teams, because the management have said, right, we need to be making more money, because every business does. But the thing conversation I seem to be having is this difference between charging what you're worth and mates rates. Like, these people, as much as they are your friends, are you going to go out drinking with them? Are you going to go out for a meal with them? All right, maybe one or two you will, but ultimately they are your friends because you know them. Like you said, you see these people religiously every 6 to 8 weeks. You see them probably sometimes more than your family. They're not your friends.
No, and that literally couldn't agree with you more. There's okay, I won't say it's another analogy I have for it, but there's they're paying you to be nice, like, and that's why it's so important for me to be like, I don't want you to have to pay me to be nice to you. I just want to get on with you. That's why it's so important to put out for me, like, what it's all about. But ultimately, you do have to remember they're paying you for a service, and like, they're paying you for your time the same way they'd pay a therapist, or they'd, like, pay and go and have a drink, and the barman would listen. Like, it's just part and part of it. But I just totally agree with you on that one, and you do have to remember your boundaries.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's also that thing of going, if you're good at your job, then that line becomes even more blurred, because then you're having to, like, fight off the thing of going, no, I'm okay, you gotta pay me now, and then having that relationship with them, like I do with work coaching at the gym. You see them, I see them every day. I see them more than I do see them more than my family, more than my friends, and you do build that relationship with them to the point that if they do something wrong, or they, like, sash you a bit, you're a bit like, oh God, I'm the one in charge. I've now got to don't do that. You can't do it. Do you know what I mean? It's such a weird balance now. So I understand where that level of, like, charging your worth, making sure that you know your boundary with them as well as
definitely.
So really, like, it's not black and white.
It's a complete mental adjustment. I think there's definitely some physical steps you can take to do that, and the first thing I think is either have a work number, or don't give your personal number out to people if you work in a salon, just because you just get yourself in hot water. Do you know what I mean? And they'll message you saying, like, the amount of things you must have seen, like, as well as I, in the groups, and they're like, oh, so and so's working, do you fancy, if you ever fancy it, just so you know, I need my roots doing, like, in the middle of COVID and stuff, and just it just puts you in that awkward position. But that it's just it can be so awkward, definitely. But the physical boundaries have to be there. I mean, I turn my phone, I've got the sleep timer on iPhones, you can do not disturb, like, that goes on at 7. I can't even, I'm just as bad, like, my work phone doesn't live with me, it lives with my front of house who works from home. So that's another funny dynamic we have. So I have someone, we're just working so often, like, I have she started off as one of my very first clients, actually, and she now kind of works for me, which another term I don't like saying. She's in the team.
She's part of the family.
Part of the family. She Arkel, we call her Arkel. She has the work phone, so I just pay her per day to answer the phone and deal with the messages and ring people and sort the bookings. But she doesn't have to. It's like front of house, but she's just not in because she doesn't have to be. So, do you know what I mean? We don't deal with walk-ins or anything. I mean, who does these days? I don't think that's.
Well, no, exactly. I think salons are becoming more destinational anyway. Like, you go there to get your hair done, and it's very rare that you get the passing trade in that same sense. Not like it used to be. Moons ago.
Social media is your window now, isn't it? So
definitely. So I want to just bring it up to speed a little bit. So so during this, obviously, lockdowns and things like that, you've, I think, kept really motivated to the point where now you're going to be doing some new things with your salon business, but you've also now started up your sort of educational side as well. So do you want to take us a little bit through how you went to then set up the educational side of what the colour room is going to be?
Yeah, so it's kind of been a long journey of mine. I think I did my so I am a qualified teacher in further education. So I last taught in traditional like college setting about 2 years ago. And it's always something I wanted to do, and I just wanted to do a little bit of it properly in college to teach. So I taught hairdressing to mature students in the evenings, which was fantastic. And testing, but completely just lovely because they all wanted to be there. Anyway, but before that, and when we first started to look at when I was going to be moving, like I said earlier, about 2 years ago, obviously you have to start looking at the finances and seeing like, okay, so where are we going to make extra money from? Where are you going to do this? And my mentors, so I'm lucky, I've got about 3 mentors. And we kind of sat down and had a look at my finances, and they're like, so what's your profit? And I was like, oh, well, I take this much per hour. And I was like, and there's like, but how much of that is profit? And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe like £5. What? So you pay yourself £5 an hour? And I was like, well, not. I just sort of and then I just remember having this complete mental breakdown. I'm not joking. Like at this table, with my accountant next to me, and being so ashamed that I didn't know anything about my own business, and I was trying to grow it like into a salon, and I was just completely winging it. And as I express that more and more, it turns out that there's so many people in that position that are just completely winging it. And I just really just shocked me. So I went through a phase of literally breaking my company back down and to granular, like how much is a foil, and bringing it back up again, and recalculating for our time, and just really bringing it the world up. And as I was exploring this and doing it myself, it was just shocking to see how the stats within our businesses, so within our industry. So all of my mentors they come from a professional academic background, so they're looking in on the hairdressing industry with no clue other than the benchmarks that they have for their own industries. So like, for example, one of the NHBF stats is that over half of businesses don't take 100 like over £100,000. So when you think of a business, your mind automatically brings you to maybe a team of 6 or more, right? Forgetting that actually business, you're a freelance business, you know, you're a sole trader, you're a business. Like, it doesn't matter where you word it, like it's actually quite a vague term, number one. Number two, 60% of hairdressers are freelance now, and that's increased by 12% in the last 12 months, which tells you something, that something's going wrong in employment. The average wage of, like, the average salary of a hairdresser is like 25,000, and I'm like, really? Is that all? Like, I feel like I should be on more than that. And then the more you learn these things and you apply it to yourself, and you're like, I actually don't know my own figures. Like, I don't know what my wage is. I don't know how much tax I'm paying this year. I don't know, like, how much a tube of color costs, or, you know, how much of that goes into like a root tint. And it was shocking how many other people there were in that position, and it really was grinding my gears. Like, I've been a little bit entrepreneurial since I was about 6, selling gravel stones in the playground. True story. I've written a piece about it actually on my website. And I just was like, you know, I really loved it. I love all this business stuff, and that's the whole reason we do it, is to have this nice lifestyle. And like, what do we go into being a freelancer for? Like, why are people coming out of employment and going into freelance? And often the answers are more freedom, more money, and more power, effectively, to do things the way you want to do them. Just for a better lifestyle. And often you're seeing that people are just working like hand to mouth. They don't know what these business terms mean. They don't know how they apply to them. They don't know what their like annual turnovers are. They don't know what their profit margins are. And the scary fact is, because we're not a monitored industry, there isn't really much you can say on it either. Like, there isn't many statistics, there isn't much academic knowledge, black and white on paper, that you can grasp and have as a benchmark. So it's something I've made my mission to try and do what I can to sort that out, because I genuinely, truly believe it doesn't matter what level you want to run your business, whether you want to be a person going door to door doing mobile hairdressing, whether you want to work from home like I did, or you want to eventually own a chain of salons. Success is relative, like it's completely what you want it to be, and that doesn't even have to mean financial, but it's successful. You need to be viable, and you need to be profitable, and profit can just mean making sure you are taking your wage home at the end of the week or the end of the day, and so many aren't viable, and it's like, well, why are you running a business then? Why have you become a freelancer if you are just giving yourself more arse ache, and you're worse off than what you were? Like, maybe you think you're better off, but you forget that expense has come out, and that expense has come out, and that needs to go to there, and you're spending all this time promoting yourself on social media and no one's paying you for it. And it's just really sad, because then you look at other industries where we have freelancers, and the way they do things, even if you look at a tradesman, I mean, we are tradespeople anyway. If you look at tradespeople from like decorators, painters, mechanics, they'll go, this was your parts, this is your labor, this is your tax. No one fucking questions it. No one says a thing. Day rate check, or hourly rate, or job rate. No one says a thing. And I'm like, we literally work exactly the same. What the fuck? Why are we not? What's going on? You know, and people pay £70 to go and have an hour's counselling or something, who have no overheads and no product fees, but have trained probably just as long as what we have sometimes with our experience that we've built up. No one bats an eyelid. Do you know what I mean? And solicitors, you could ring up and have a consultation on the phone, often what we do, for like 20 minutes with someone. 20 minutes, £57, thank you. Do you know what I mean? At £150 an hour rate, no one says a thing.
Really, like, assy about the fact that they've got to pay to get their fringe trimmed, or they've got to pay to have a like you say, a 20-minute conversation about what colour they may or may not have, and then they decide to not come in with you. It's like,
and go elsewhere. I don't really get that, but it happens, and it just grinds my gears. Like, why are we exempt? Why are we martyrs just because we do this creative job that we absolutely love, when often we're taking different elements? Like, you wouldn't ask your solicitor about finances. They'd say, that's not my job. Go and ask your accountant. But we're expected to take on all these different job roles. When you think of all the job roles that come under the umbrella of being a hairdresser, a freelance one, or a business owner at that, whatever you want to call yourself, there's so much that we don't delegate and we don't think about, and we're just expected to do it for the love on a really fucking shit wage, and it really bugs me. So I'm but it just really ground my gears. So that's where I got to with it, and I was like, I have to do something. So I said to my mentors, I was like, do you think I'm at a place now that I could pass on what you've taught me? This is very clearly working, it's a working business model, and give it to people. And they said so I set to work. It took me about 3 weeks to make the course, and I've just started delivering it. It's going down a treat. So that's where we came to with it. Sorry, it's over.
No, it's good.
I think through that, what strikes me, and I've got like friends who have started their own businesses and all that type of stuff in the creative field. I think that's the word which really puts people to think is something frivolous, or something which is whereas you say like a tradesman, you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly. They know exactly what it is, and they know the importance of it. Whereas when you say creative, people just think of it as something a bit like fancy. Like my friend Amber, she's got her own knitwear company. She's been doing it for a couple of years, and the fight she's had to do, and the stuff, like you said, all the extra things that it took for her to then realise, actually, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. It is a creative industry, but because it's deemed under creative, it deemed as like throwaway. And people don't see the importance of, like, you say, oh, I'm going to go to a tradesman. They know for a fact that they need that boiler, or they need that brick wall made, or they need that. Whereas with a creative thing, and it's been proven, sadly, with the pandemic, in the whole aspect of we are, like, everything stopped for creatives, and the fact that it was given, there was that, like, it caused outrage, and a lot of people who aren't creative didn't understand why it caused, when they put that picture out of the girl who was a ballerina going, oh, it's all right, she can retrain in IT. And people I know who I'm really good friends with were like, well, she can. And it's like, whoa, you're not seeing the importance of and like, then it got put back out. Someone had re-edited it saying, well, it took this person to take the picture, then it took this person to do the so it's that level of, like, people just see it as frivolous, so they don't understand, so they don't want to know. Whereas if they knew, like you said, if you go into it, then you, like, from your past experience of, like, the importance your mother gave you of why hairdressing, and that is so important, people don't see the importance of creative jobs because they just don't really care.
Yeah,
it's so sad. And what you're doing in saying like, no, I am a trade, because like I've always been told, because of like with Rob and my auntie who taught Rob, I've always known it as one of those like, this is a job for life, like it's a trade. You're like,
you're not a hairdresser.
You're like I always put in the same thing as like a plumber, electrician, hairdresser.
Yeah.
Those are three sort of jobs you would never have to do anything else.
No.
Because you always need it. So
yeah, such a malleable. There's always someone who needs something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't understand, like you said, where's that disparity between like the plumber and the electrician and then the hairdresser? Like, why doesn't the world see the importance of it?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I think COVID's definitely given us a new level, I think, with people. I think because COVID's had the biggest impact it's had is on mental health, which is something we champion a lot of within the colouring family. There you go, said it. And the importance of that, because if you're mentally not okay, nothing else is okay, because you're not able to do anything. And I think that's definitely hairdressing has, even just talking to people, and even that sense of how funny is it that we've got this 2 meter social distancing rule, face guards and whatever, yet we're allowed to wash your hair and we're allowed to touch you on the shoulder. And one of my clients, I don't think I'll ever forget it now, I was cutting her hair and she was telling me something, and she said, this is the first time I've been physically touched in 4 months. Wow. On our own, and it just broke my heart. And I just put my hands on her shoulder and I just stopped for a second, just really held her. I didn't give her a cuddle, but I wanted to. I just put my hands on her and was like, mate, I love you, like, just I'm so glad I can give you that, relating it back, you know what I mean, to the importance of it. But yeah, I think going back to the ballerina photo, it's important. I think that was a real mess up of words. I think what they could have said is like, think about how you can diversify. There's nothing wrong with that. And think about how you can differently channel the same information. But no, that was a complete F up, wasn't it?
Because like I say, everyone, if we were all the same, we'd all be doing the same job. But because everyone's so different and individual, like I'm always a strong believer that we're all meant to be doing something. Like I've tried to go down that channel of being a manager within a shop. No, it's not made for me. But I appreciate the people who do that job are meant to do it. People who are supposed to be educators, like Rob is now in education. He's gone through the chat and he's meant to do it. Like, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. I'm supposed to do. We're all made to do something. So to then take away the importance of anything is like turning around saying, a street, as the old thing is, like a toilet cleaner or a street sweeper is less than a CEO. It's like, I actually, like, it's all relative, it's all important. One doesn't do without the other. So I think that's, like I said, with that whole, it's just about diversification more than you don't need to do that, we need to do this.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about diversifying. And practically speaking, that's a reason I've thought, what's my USP that I can put a price tag on? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I know that there's been a saturation of educators over COVID, but it is all just people looking to diversify, looking at their USP, and it's like, well, I can't put my USP on you. So what a phrase.
You could, but you might get in trouble.
But as in, I can't, you know what I meant by that.
Yeah.
But I can teach other people my skill. Do you know what I mean? And that's absolutely fine. And it doesn't bother me. But I think the other thing that made me go down into the route of doing this first business course that I've released is, it's all very well knowing all these techniques and spending 500 quid on balayage courses and £50 on a Zoom to do your precision cutting courses, but if you're not learning how to implement and monetize on that new skill, and also you're not able to calculate how you're going to see your return on investment on investing on that skill, then you're just more in debt, really. If you're not going to put your prices up because of it, then there was really no point in you doing it. And that's another thing I feel strongly about. It's like, the balance between cash generating time and cost generating time, and also seeing a return on investment. And that's something, cash flow issues are the number one reason that businesses fail, and also not being able to analyze correctly your what you've got in front of you to make a better judgment, and to really analyze something and whether it's a good investment, really. That could be a new pair of scissors. Do you need to spend £500 on a pair of scissors, or have you not got £500 right now and now you just can't pay your lecky bill? Or, you know, have you just invested on an apprentice who you've now tied into a contract? We didn't even have to go about getting some help that way. There were other ways that you could have obtained help. So that's the next thing I'm looking at is there's this very traditional model of hairdressing. Either you're a mobile hairdresser, or you're pay a little bit more and you go to a home hairdresser, or you pay through the roof and go to a salon. And it seems like, number one, there's something wrong with all of these models. Like they're not universal, they're not blanket business models. Sorry that I've gone on a Dragon's Den pitch here. But it also, there's other ways. There's other ways of doing things. There's other contracts, and you don't even have to get contracts involved. There's so many different types of ways you can put a team together effectively to get the most value out of what you're all trying to offer. And that's something I feel really passionate about, which is, I mean, clearly, because I've just said I've run a freaking team of 7 from a council house. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's clearly different ways of doing things. It's all it just all needs a bit of a kick up the booty, really, because we're trained to be good at our profession. It's the same with any freelancer, I think. You're trained to be good at your profession, but you're not trained how to be a business manager or anything to do with finance. So you're not taught that in hairdressing college, really. And it's just like, what? When 60% of our industry is freelance overnight, like you don't grow into being free. I mean, you do, I guess, but you don't grow into being freelance. You're just, one minute you're employed and the next minute you're not. So it's just really a bone bearing
people. And I think when people go from, let's say in the hairdressing industry, they go from being salon employed to then going into being freelance, they then just transfer, maybe knock a bit off of the prices that they were charging in salon, and then just do that. And like you've already said, you know, half the time they're doing it because they've knocked maybe a tenner off of what they would have normally charged or whatever, because they're then scared that they won't have any business. But actually they're still, like you said, not making any money, because they've not taken into account the fact that maybe the salon that they work in does get really good rates on the product that they buy in, whereas now you're going to the wholesaler where you're going to be spending effectively through the roof for the same product. So you're then charging the same, but actually your cost of product is going to be more. And going back to this sort of point, I think, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I think for any business now, not just hairdressing, but anybody looking to start their own business, I think the most important thing, as you said, and the first starting point is to say, right, if you're going to be in textiles or fashion or whatever, how much is a meter of thread? How many meters goes into making that thing? How much is a roll of foil? How many centimeters of foil do I need to do this amount of hair? You know, really fine tune and nitpick it so that you can start off on the right footing. You might think, like lots of people might think, yeah, but it's going to be about the same. I just need to get started. Well, yeah, we just need to get started, but at the same time,
from the start.
Exactly. Because then, how difficult does it become to then say, right, I need to do a price increase, and then it's a really big price increase because you've not factored the costs in properly.
Definitely. I think so for me, when I think about that, the delivery cost of a service, there's your price for your time, like your charge out rate. Then there's your price for your overheads, and then there's your product cost, and sometimes there's VAT, but we'll leave that out for now. It's too complicated. And
VAT is universal, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. But the thing that gripes me is often what I find quite funny is professionals. I'm surrounded, all my friendship groups are pretty much professionals, and they all live by spreadsheets, and they live by a personal budgeting spreadsheet, and they make them themselves and make them however, and they know exactly how much they need because they're going to go for the next job, and they go, well, I know that I want to do this with my life, and I know my mortgage is going to increase, and I know this, that, and the other, so I know that I need to go for a job that earns 27k or 65k or whatever. And creatives have often, like in my research, have not even heard of a personal budgeting sheet. And I'm like, okay, let's start there then, shall we? Let's see how much you actually need to live the lifestyle you want. Like, you're telling me you want to be a freelancer, you're telling me you want more freedom, you want money to just buy clothes and go on nice holidays and take your kids to nice things. Like, what does that look like on paper? Should we start there? Because
Yeah.
at least if you can think, I can't charge that right now, I can't afford to from the start charge £200 for a balayage, maybe think about a different job route in total, not in the industry, like within the industry, like a different setup, or think about what else can I do to diversify and get my money from elsewhere, or can I live without some of this stuff for now and have that as a lifestyle aim. So for me, that's what my new course is all about. It's like breaking it down literally right from the start, before you even get on to like charging for your foil and your color and your overheads, because that's the bit that applies to everyone. That's the bit that it doesn't matter if you're a salon owner, or you're going to work rent a chair, or you're going to work employed. You need to know how much you need, and you need to know your professional overheads that no one's going to pay other than you. Like, no one buys your scissors other than you, no one pays your liability insurance other than you, no one pays your, do you know what I mean, your like things like your Google storage for your, you know, because often our phones are full of photos, and they're photos of hair. So it's like, well, isn't that to do with your job? Shouldn't you be putting that as an expense, that £4.99 you pay for storage, things like that. And it's amazing how much that adds up to before you've even done anything, before you've even come at them with a pair of scissors. Do you know what I mean? All the time you spend on Instagram, all that people aren't paying you for.
I think it's something that I've learned to do now, and I very much am, and it's only through doing this job, I'm like spreadsheet wizard now, and even now there's people above me in the company, and they're still like, you know how to work a spreadsheet? I'm like, yeah. Like, I love it, like literally love it, but it's one of those things that within hairdressing it's not necessarily the go-to, because we're, like we've already said a million times, we're creative. But I think this is
an academic thing, isn't it?
I think it's a really interesting point that you actually bring up, because if people actually sat down and did exactly what you've just said, and maybe this is the plug that we need to do, is like, this is the course you need to be on, everybody.
20 quid.
There you go.
Not a big one.
No, but this could be the defining moment, which actually might show you that sometimes the timing is not right, and it's not meant to be. And by knowing some of this information, it will give you more knowledge and actually say, do you know what? Not that I need to suck it up to hate my job, but maybe I need to suck it up because actually the best thing for me now is to stay in a salon, employed. I get my holidays, I get sick pay, I get this, that, and the other, whatever. And this is talking any industry now. I might get healthcare, I might get this, that, the other, whatever. Maybe you need to stay with that to be able to keep yourself going, and then still be able to afford to do this course to upskill yourself, ready for when you're then going to make that decision to do, go freelance or make your own business and things like that.
Definitely. I mean, one of my people in my bubble, she's in exactly the same position. She's employed, and she's just like, now is not the time for me to go and freelance. But at least she will know what it looks like to go freelance and what to prepare for. And within my course, like, shameless plug again, that's what I'm saying, like, you shouldn't be worse off just because you chose to go freelance. Freelancers don't work for free. Like, that's not what that means. Like, you need to still give yourself all the rights that you had as an employee. You shouldn't be worse off for going freelance. So I'll show you how to calculate, how to save for your tax, your national insurance, your holiday pay, your sick pay, like all of these things. How many days education are you going to do? Who's paying for that? Or are you going to just work an extra day? Things like that. You shouldn't be worse off just for going freelance. You should be better off, and you shouldn't have to be a martyr and just take that as, well, I'm better off mentally, I'm better off emotionally. Like, no, you're fucking better off financially as well. Like, what's the point otherwise? Because
that will help with everything else.
Like, you can't be happy if you're stressing about not paying your gas bill. So
Exactly.
I'm very passionate about this.
I love it. So I hate to have to do this, but we've got to go to last orders. It's been an amazing sort of conversation, and I think we could easily keep going for hours on end. I mean, I think there's just so much more about starting your own business, and expanding and diversifying and all of these different things. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but for everybody that's watching, you can see now why I wanted to get Stacey on, the passion that she's got. And just to top it all off, this is not meant to be as like a degrading or any sort of thing. but it just goes to prove the power of want and drive and passion, that even when you're dyslexic, you can still achieve great things.
Oh yeah.
And for anybody that thinks that that is like almost like a disability, that you cannot function in life, and I know that there's lots of different variations of and intensities of like this sort of thing, but there is always going to be a will and a way around everything to make it successful. Do you know what I mean? So I think that your story, if nothing else, you know, where you've come from and the challenges that you face for yourself, and how you understand things anyway, I think you've proven that anybody can do anything as well. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. It's just your mindset.
Exactly. Where can people find you?
In my house, just like we all should be. So you can find me on socials. So if you want to follow the salon, it's at the Colour Room Hearts. Hearts is HETRS, as in Hertfordshire, and colour with a U. And you can find everything kind of from there, to be honest. So the website is linked, which is tcrhair.co.uk, if that's easier. Yeah, everything's kind of through there, really. TCR__ academy. So that's TCR_ academy. If you just want to follow like the business side of things, which I'm hoping to expand on a bit more, and just really just post content that's to do with saving you time and money as like a freelancer as well, even down to like little things you can set up for yourself to make yourself quicker. Just little things like that. Looking to repost the people that inspire me, looking to repost things from Weller. So just all sorts of things really. That's where you can find me, usually on Instagram.
Nice. So I think definitely for anybody that is more interested inside that businessy type of thing, this could be an avenue of diversification for yourself as well. Like, you don't necessarily have to be a hairdresser to get involved with the Colour Room Academy. If you're starting off in business, then some of the same rules are going to apply. Like your mentors probably told you if they're not from a hairdressing background as well.
Definitely.
So just want to say a massive thank you so much for coming on today. It has been a dream and a pleasure. I'm so glad I finally got to like get you on and have some sort of conversation with you in some way, shape or form. It's been an absolute dream. So yeah.
Thank you, Rob. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
Good. So until next time, we shall see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm pretending to turn everything off. So, since filming this chat, Stacey now has the keys to her first salon premises in Letchworth, and now she is working on renovating the space into the salon she has always wanted. She's being a proper grown-up now. Let us know in the comments what is the most grown-up thing you have done so far. #AdultLife. Stacey's Pineapple playlist is like being on holiday in Corfu and doing a ridiculous amount of spins and knee slides. From Wondu Project and the Venga Boys to Kylie and Shania. So look up Stacey's Pineapple playlist on Apple Music and Spotify. You can also search Being More Pineapple, hit download and subscribe. Tag us in over on Instagram of where you like to listen to your Pineapple playlist. #Pineapple playlist. Every Monday on Instagram, get involved in the Pineapple Community Challenge. If you've missed any, then you can swipe across to our IGTV and there you will find all of the previous challenges. Don't forget to tag us in at Being More Pineapple and use the hashtag Pineapple Community Challenge. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell so you always know when we're releasing new content. Please like, comment and share to show your support and help us grow the Being More Pineapple community. Let us know if there's anything new you want us to film. Plus, if you or someone you know has an interesting point of view or a story to tell, drop it into the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, from here in the Fruit Bowl, we send you peace and love. Be kind, stay safe, stay connected.